Let's bring in Dolapo, the head of research at EcoBank Development Corporations, as he joins us to discuss these numbers and, of course, the developments in the markets. Good morning, Dolapo.
Hi, Bolaji. Good to be here.
Thank you for joining us on the program. Now, what do you make of this development, just as when we started to look inward to see how we can revamp, or rather ramp up our refining capacity as a country? We are shutting down 2 refineries.
I mean, it's really sad, but it's a recurring problem we have, which I think is a symptom of a bigger problem, which until we fix, is likely to keep on repeating itself. The fact remains that the refineries are not secure. The feedstock pipelines to the refineries are not secure, and we need to do something seriously about it, because no matter how much we invest in getting those refineries up to capacity, if they are able to protect their feedstock pipelines and they have to keep shutting down consistently, that investment will be a waste. So it's something that needs to be addressed.
Well, we've seen security agencies trying to clamp down on those alleged to have vandalized our the pipelines. Rather, isn't that enough to secure them?
I mean, definitely not. Definitely not. We will have to also consider the possibility of creating alternate routes, more like a whole gridwork of pipelines in the Niger Delta, so that if one pipeline system is shut down, there is an alternate route for the refineries to get their feedstock, instead of the current system where I think there's really just about 1 or 2 lines directly to the refinery for feedstock. That's one. But more importantly, I mean, the impact of this will be that we have to import a lot more. And if going by what we're seeing in the media, foreign suppliers of crude oil, of petroleum products, are already blacklisting Nigeria due to problems we have with payment for imports.
Now, you talked about alternative routes to laying our pipelines, but that is an issue of infrastructure. And we all know what is going on in terms of the cash call of the NNPC, what the price of oil is seeing in the international market. How do you think that can happen?
I mean, look at what Kepler did a year or 2 ago. They laid a pipeline directly to Warri Refinery themselves. And essentially what that did was 2 things. It achieved opportunity for Kepler itself to have an alternate market for its crude oil, so that they don't have to necessarily export everything. They can sell directly to the Warri Refinery. The other option, and for the Warri Refinery, it provided an alternate route as well for getting oil into the pipeline, into the refinery. So, I mean, it's something that the government can approach some of the oil producers to dedicate some of their cash flow, if they have, and this will most likely be the IOC, towards getting some of the oil to the refinery. That's most likely to be Port Harcourt Refinery. Kaduna will always be a challenge because it's far up north, and getting crude that way is always a challenge.
Okay, when we look at the capacity, the refining capacity at the moment of these refineries that were shut down, we saw that of the Kaduna Refinery and the Warri Refineries. Are they significant enough for us to worry about when we look at the fact that perhaps our fears of long queues may emerge?
I think based on the economics on ground, Bolaji, it's almost not avoidable that we will have the queues at some point. Because if you look at what you're saying, what we're discussing here, the refineries were operating far below their full capacity before this attack happened. I mean, Warri and Port Harcourt and Kaduna and Warri combined were pushing about 7 million liters of petrol. Based on their refining capacity, that's less than 20% of their refining capacity, and that was really just to stabilize gasoline supply into the market. But what has happened now essentially has removed that stabilization factor and puts us at the of fuel import. And like I said again, fuel import is a bit of a challenge right now because there isn't enough dollars to get enough fuel imports into the country.
Now, the corporation that is the NNPC is sure that it has put in place strategies to guarantee unimpeded countrywide availability of petroleum products. Perhaps it is actually allaying our fears when we look at the fact that there is a possibility of petrol scarcity.
Yes, NNPC has tried to build up reserves. I mean, over the last quarter till date, I think they tried to build up some storage. And it's just, although we don't have much data on that now, it's just a case of seeing how much that storage can, supply the market currently. I imagine that's what he's making alluding to, right, actually.
Okay, what other options do you think we have at this point?
I mean, we have to import. There's really no other option. It's really just the import. The other thing would be, to hasten repairs on the pipeline and get the refineries back in operation. They've said the repairs will take roughly about 2 weeks or so. So I think that's not too long a wait. The good thing is that the refineries themselves have no issues. It's just the feedstock pipeline. So once that's fixed, I think we can get over this.
Okay, we hope that things turn out to be positive at the end. Thank you.
Definitely.
All right.